Hello, I'm Mike Felty, and if you've been watching any of my videos, I've been promising for a week or so I was going to do one on our outdoor wood burner. So I'm going to try to do that today. It's about 50 degrees here right now, but it's supposed to drop to in the 20s tonight, and we're supposed to get snow tonight and tomorrow, so I figured it's time to get it going. So I'm going to try to do a little video here on explaining what an outdoor wood boiler is, or wood burner. How they work. They've been around for a lot of years. Whoever come up with this was a genius. Especially if you like having that good warm heat from fire, but you don't want smoke in the house or whatever. This is pretty awesome. As you can see here, mine is a Heatmaster boiler, and we've had it for about 3 years. But I'm going to go through, I'm going to show you a little bit about it first, explain how it works, and then we'll try to get it going. I'm going to show you tell you about some do's and don'ts that I've learned just by trial and error. So if you want, also here in a few days, we're supposed to get some snow. If we do get some snow, I'll do another video tour of the property, the actual land. It's a little easier to see the property when there's snow on the ground. So I think, I'm not even sure how it works, but I think if you subscribe and I do another video, it'll pop up. So anyway, I'm going to get started on the stove here, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. So I'm going to try to explain how this wood stove works to start with. Mine, you can see, is a Heatmaster 375. This stove will burn wood or coal. Some of them you can only burn wood in, but this one you can burn coal. If you didn't want to cut wood and you just want to order coal and have it dumped, you could. The way these systems work, this particular model here holds about 300 gallons of water. And if you look at the top, there's a little bob here that bobs up and down, which it shows it's low right now. Once the water gets hot, that'll raise up. But that's where you put the water in, the top. You usually have to fill it once a year, or top it off once a year when you're getting started again. But this thing has a huge firebox inside. I've done got it loaded right now, ready to go. I'm ready to start it. Hope you can see in there, but all the way around this whole box, it holds water, 300 gallon of water. And that water gets up to about 180 degrees. And once it gets up to 180 degrees and it's circulating, come around back here and show you. So right here is the pump, and you can see the two lines here. That's 1-inch PEX. This pump pumps water, it circulates it. It goes, the hot water here goes through one of the lines all the way into my house, all the way to my heat pump, to my heat exchanger, and then it circulates and comes back. So it's a continuous cycle. And of course, when it cuts on in the house and the fan blows across the heat exchanger, and it blows the warm air out in the house as it's blowing across it, it cools the water. So one thing that's really neat, you can see down here at the bottom, it's kind of hard to tell, but this is a fan. It blows through the bottom of this stove. So what you do is you set your thermostat on this thing to the temperature you want. Let me turn mine on here. I don't actually have it going yet, but it's only 57 degrees right now, the water, because I don't have a fire going. But you can see 180 degrees is what we keep this at. The difference I've got right now is set at 7. I'll change that probably to 10 here in a little bit, but what that means is when the water temperature gets to 180 degrees, the fan turns off. Then the wood inside will just sit there and smolder. It won't actually just burn. When the temperature drops down to whatever difference you've got, if it's 7 degrees, 8 or 10, if I've got 10 degrees, once that water temperature drops to 170, that fan cuts on in the bottom of this stove and it ramps the fire back up. And you'll be able to look out and see the smoke coming out of the chimney. When it comes back on, it warms back up to 180, shuts the fan off. I have to load this usually when it's really cold out. I'll load it once in the morning and once in the afternoon, so it's not too bad. I've got a couple clean outs. The one up here cleans the flue out. The one in the bottom, this is your grate, or your where all your ashes go, which you'll see there's none in it right now. This little thing shakes the grates inside to make the ashes fall through, and one of the little tricks I learned is you do not ever shake that during the season that you're burning. you let whatever little bit of ashes falls down every day, you can empty that thing, dump it out to where the air can still blow through there when the fan comes on. But I usually, once this thing's been going a few weeks, I'll get my coal bed all the way up to about not far below the door. And that coal bed will just stay there and smolder. And that way you don't ever have to start, the fire don't ever go out, you don't ever have to restart it. You'll open it up and there won't be a fire in it, and you throw your wood in, but when that fan cuts on, it comes through them coals, it'll ramp it right back up. So it's pretty neat. When I first got this one, first month I was ready to give it back because I couldn't keep a fire going, but I kept shaking the grate and getting all the ashes out. I wasn't getting a coal bed inside, so that's a biggie. That's probably the biggest thing I've learned with it. But we'll walk inside. I showed yesterday in the video, but if you didn't see it, you don't know, I'll show you inside where this thing comes into the heat pump and kind of how it works there. And then we'll come back outside and get it going. Before I go down and show you that, I meant to show you something here in the back. You can see the pipe coming in and out. So this side here coming out of the ground, I actually wrapped my pipe with a bigger pipe and filled with foam just to try to, so it wouldn't lose any heat. But when it comes in, this is the pipe it's made in, and it's insulated inside. But it, like I said, this runs all the way to my house underground, goes inside. This side, you see I've got another, and it goes up, and this is what it actually looks like before it's hooked up. So this one has nothing to it. I run this one to my shop when I built my shop, because if I want to heat my shop with this, all I gotta do is put a furnace in. They make just an air handler you can put in there. You can put an overhead in the shop, or I could put a little heat pump in the living area if I wanted. And you see there's a pump here. There's just a second pump, mounts right here. You plug it in and you're ready to go. You got your return and your supply both for the second pump. So you can actually heat two different things with this same stove. So now I'm going to go inside and show you how it works inside. So I'm down here in my mechanical room, and I actually have two heat pumps in our basement, two indoor units. We have two more units, but they're upstairs in the very top in the like attic space for upstairs. But this one is our main unit. This is a 4-ton unit that heats the main level of our house. This one heats the basement, and it also has a dehumidifier system hooked to it. And to be honest, the dehumidifier is about all that ever runs in the basement. Where it's underground, it stays about the same temperature year round. But here you can see those same lines, the 1-inch PEX coming in, and what they do in this heat system, right below this is your fan. And this is, it looks like a little radiator. You can see where they've taped it, where they put it in, slides all the way in the system. They call it a heat exchanger, but it looks like a vehicle radiator almost. And the hot water, that 180-degree water, just comes in and circulates through that system. And we have a separate thermostat upstairs, one for the outdoor unit and one for our regular heat pump. So what we do is we turn the regular heat pump down to like 50 degrees. That way, if we were out of town or away from the house and couldn't get back, and the wood stove went out, it wouldn't drop down and, you know, get so cold our water lines would freeze and bust. Our actual heat pump would actually be our secondary heat. Once it dropped to 50, the regular heat pump cuts on. But the other thermostat just has a temperature. If you set it to 70, the second the thermostat there drops down to 69 degrees, it turns just the fan on the indoor unit. Nothing else. No heat strips, no outdoor unit, just the fan, and it blows across that heat exchanger and blows really warm air out into the house. It is a very, very comfortable heat. My wife has grown to love it, and I can say I actually do too. I've got really used to it. So that's all it is. It's pretty simple. And you can see we've got it ran into the other unit in the basement. Does not go to the units upstairs because heat rises, and I didn't think we would ever need it upstairs, and we don't. With the one main level running, it keeps upstairs plenty warm all winter long. Matter of fact, it gets warmer up there than it does on the main level most of the time. And the one here in the basement never cuts on. So anyway, we're going to go back out and see if we can get a fire going, and hopefully we can get this thing started and ready to go for the winter. All right, I'm going to see if I can get this thing started. You can see in the bottom of the stove, if you can see, there's a lot of little fine wood chips and stuff. When I brought my last load of firewood here and dumped it in a drive, then I had to stack it. All the little stuff left over, I swept up and put in the bottom. Then I've already loaded some wood in. I got a little bit of cardboard in here, so we're gonna see if we can get this thing started. And once it gets burning just a little bit, I'll turn the unit on and it'll cause the fan to start blowing, and that will really get it ramped up quick. So let's just see if we can get a little bit of this burning here. I do have a little bit of diesel fuel if I need. Sometimes I'll spray a little bit in there just to get it going. And I'm gonna try without here first. Let's see. I don't know if you can hear in the background, but the wind is really blowing here today. Every day I've done videos, it has been so pretty outside, and today it is just, it looks like winter. It's old gray sky, wind blowing, overcast. All right, maybe. Well, give me a minute. I'm gonna try to find us some diesel and spray on this, see if we can get it going. All right, so I got me a little bit of diesel and threw in there, and we'll see if that won't get us going here. I've got the fan on, so it should pick up here in a second. Here we go. Let's see. Once it gets burning a little bit and that fan gets a hold of it, it'll take off. It's the hardest part, doing the whole thing all winter long, was getting that first good start going with the fire. All right. Whew. All right, I'm going to shut the door here for a minute. We'll come back, give it just a few minutes to see what's going on with it. It's only been a couple of minutes since I shut the door, and if you can see, there's already some smoke coming out of the chimney. I'm going to leave it for just a little bit. It will, I think it'll get ramped up good. Once it gets burning here for a little bit, I'll open up and show you inside, and that's pretty much all there is to it. And once you get the fire going, you just, one thing I didn't tell, you do not ever want to open this door with the fan going, because if you do, it'll flash. You could get some serious burns. You always want to make sure the fan's shut off. If it's in the middle of a cycle where the temperature's in between the fans running, you just reach around here and flip it off and let it sit a minute before you open the door. But that's really the only danger of ever getting hurt would be jerking that door open with the fan going and it flash on you. But we'll watch it here for a few minutes and I'll let you know. You can see the sky, what I was talking about. Just an old dreary looking day today. But, all right, we'll be back in a few minutes. Well, she's been going for about 7 or 8 minutes now, and you can see it's starting to burn really good. So all I'll do now is just keep an eye on it. Wait for it. It'll take a little while for the temperature to get up, so it'll burn a lot of that wood pretty quick, trying to get it up to temperature. So I will have to replace it here in a little bit, but once it gets up to temperature, then it stays pretty simple. And if you're watching this video and you're someone that's interested in the property and you're thinking, Lord, I can't do that every winter, I'm out. You don't have to. That's the beauty of it. You don't ever have to run this stove if you don't want to. I enjoy doing it, and I love going all through the winter and my heat pump's never cutting on. Obviously it saves on the electric bill, but if you didn't want this stove, you could literally unhook the plumbing right there and sell it in a heartbeat. There's people around here always looking for the outdoor wood stoves. They're becoming way more popular every single year. And Heatmaster, all the research I've done, they're probably one of the best. So I think that's it. I am gonna pop a door open here. I told you not to do this with the fan on, but I'm gonna attempt here. It ain't burning, it ain't hot enough in there yet, but yeah, it's getting going. It's still got a long way to go, but I think that's all. Keep an eye out, watch my next videos. I'm gonna do a few more. I'm gonna try to do one of the guest house here maybe next week. I'll do one outside down there and inside, and if anybody's watching it is remotely interested in the home and they'd like to see anything else, they can shoot me a message on there and I'll be more than glad to respond. So hope you have a good rest of the weekend. Thanks.